things that led them to determine the Nigerian culture was the lead culture. So let's keep going here. So he says here on page 39, this is Powernomics, powernomics.com, so you can get a copy. He says, to achieve our empowerment culture, our schools, families, and churches will have to mentally prepare our team to take calculated risks. As we travel a new road, we will have many choices to make regarding economic development, politics, education, and our places of worship. Our traditional institutions must accept the double responsibility of educating and psychologically conditioning blacks to take calculated risks and compete in areas other than sports and entertainment. Our institutions should help us practice the process of collecting information and assessing it through a set of principles, then making informed decision, taking a calculated risk. The willingness to risk failure allows the exploration that leads to success. Needless to say, one should never take risks simply for the sake of risk. But as a noted military strategist once said, as he was preparing to do battle, if you take risks, you may still fail. But if you do not take risks, you will surely fail. So that's another aspect of culture that I want you guys to understand. I had a friend who was writing a book about entrepreneurs, and she looked at different ethnic groups, and the likelihood that they would actually own their own businesses. Now she was very wealthy. Her father was an immigrant from India, and they owned literally this 100,000 square foot mall. That's how wealthy the family was. And she was we had a lot of trust, so she was able to ask me questions that maybe she couldn't ask in public because I know her heart, and I was okay answering those questions. So she said, I don't understand, why don't black people start businesses? She said, I couldn't understand it. She said, relative to their percentage in the population, they are far less likely than almost any other group to start their own business. And what she concluded, which I agree with, is that she said that when you think about taking a risk, you are thinking about one of two things. You're either thinking about the reward or you're thinking about the potential loss. And traumatized people, this is where trauma training is really important. My wife is an expert on trauma. Traumatized people tend to see the risk more. They see the risk differently than a regular person might see it. They're seeing the downside. They're seeing the fear, right? Instead of seeing the upside, which is the potential. So because so many black people have been traumatized and re-traumatized, and there's epigenetic studies that show that trauma stays in your DNA and all these other things, right? They say that we tend to see the scary part of taking a risk. So if you've ever, for example, tried to start a business and you had those relatives that were warning you, like they were claiming to be helping you, but all they're doing is feeding you negative energy by telling you all the things, all the horrible things are going to happen if you fail, and that you'll never get another job, and how you're going to pay the bills, and you and the baby going to be homeless, and right, all these things that don't exactly inspire confidence in what you're trying to do. And then they'll just sit there and watch you fail. They won't even try to help you succeed. They'll just watch you fail, and then when you fail, they say, "See, I told you so." Right? So a lot of you have relatives like that. Well, a lot of that comes from that trauma trigger, where so many of us are very high on the trauma scale in either in our lives or even in our DNA. Again, this stuff, epigenetic studies show that this is actually inherited from parent to child. So what he's saying, what Dr. Anderson is saying here on page 39 in the book Powernomics, is that you have to train yourself to take some calculated risks. One of the great assets that black people have, in my view, is this thing called faith. A lot of people talk bad about the fact that so many black people go to church. I don't do that. I don't speak ill on the black church because I know black churches are different. There's tens of thousands of black churches. They're not all the same. And I will say this, I have found that faith is a wonderful asset to have in my possession when I'm trying to accomplish a goal. I don't go to church. I ain't gonna lie. When on Sundays, I am usually at home watching a football game or taking a nap. One of the two. I'm not in church. I'm not putting money in the tithe bucket. No disrespect, but that's just not what I do. But I have found that faith, being able to believe in things that are unseen, and to know that things are going to happen, and to know that if you just keep going down the road, things will eventually get better. Faith is critical in everything that I do. Every day I'm leaning on faith. Every day I'm like, okay, boys, just stay cool. It's gonna be all right. You gonna work it. You'll work it out, right? So ultimately, what I would say to you is maybe that could be the thing that you lean on that helps you to close your eyes and hold your nose and jump in the water, and just knowing that whatever is on the other side of that wall of fear that's stopping you from going after what you want, you can overcome that. Whatever monster is on the other side of that wall, you should believe that you can fight that monster. Don't just go to the other side of the wall believing that the monster is not there. He might be there. You might run into a monster that's big, twice as big as the one you thought you were going to see. But faith, in my view, is knowing that if the monster's there, I'm going to fight. I can fight the monster because I have faith in me. I have faith in my commitment to this. I have faith that things are going to work out. So lean on that faith. That faith will carry you a long way. It makes a big difference in terms of whether you make the move or you don't make the move. And I was explaining to my daughter the other day. I explained to her, we were talking about fear, and I said, don't live your life based on fear. I said, fear is a prison. Fear will stop you from having all the things in life that you want. Every single thing that you ever want, you're going to miss it because you're going to be in the prison of fear. So you got to find a way to get out of jail. A lot of us are in jail right now. So let me keep going. Let me keep reading. And by the way, some of you are asking about the convention and stuff like that. If you want to learn more about the convention or the event we're doing in Chicago on the 15th, go to boycewatkins.com. Just click on the events link, and it's all right there. And also, if you want to be a vendor at the convention, if you have a business you'd like to sell at the convention, a lot of people make money. I talked to Mary Dean, and she said that she spent $1,000 to go to one of our events, and she made $11,000 from her clients or something like that. So there's a lot of people there that are prepared to buy black. We fully expect to sell out. So if you are a vendor or a business owner, or you want to be a sponsor, you want us to market your business to, I'll personally market your business to all of the people that are there, then feel free to go to boycewatkins.com, click on events, look for the All Black National Convention, and all that's there. And also discounted hotels and everything is there. And don't forget, we'll be in New Orleans July 1st through the 3rd. And that's going to be a training, a 3-day training that you can participate in. That's going to be really good. So let me keep going here. All right, so page 39, Dr. Anderson says that the second key to empowerment is having a group vision. A group vision functions to provide a clear collective destination and a sense of how it should be achieved. Black Americans are very fortunate to have survived nearly 4 centuries of slavery and Jim Crow semi-slavery without a vision of where they should be going and how they should get there. We did not even have the benefit of a group dream until the end of the Black Civil Rights Movement. The dream, however, was based on very broad and amorphous concepts of freedom, equality, and justice. All of these concepts are relative and difficult to define. On the other hand, they are palatable and excellent motivators, especially for a group whose acceptable options at the time were relegated to marching and demonstrating. Today, we need more practical, tangible, and measurable racial goals and supportive activities that bear directly on resolving our wealth inequality or inappropriate behavior patterns. We should accept nothing less. History is full of examples of how oppressed groups envisioned their escape by taking power for themselves. For those who did obtain freedom or justice, their vision was always the key that unlocked the door to their group's resources. In biblical times, Moses had a vision for his people that drove him and thousands of poor Jews through almost insurmountable obstacles to the envisioned promised land. Moses had a vision, not a dream. A vision means the mind's eye is wide open. A dream implies the mind is asleep. Jews today remain committed to Moses' vision of a powerful, self-sufficient minority religious group. Thousands of years after their exodus, Jews and Israel are politically and economically powerful. There are more recent examples here in the United States of a majority group with a group vision. Generations of poor European immigrants came to the country with a vision of expropriating Indian land and using free black labor to shape a new world. This vision resulted in the building of the United States of America, the world's greatest superpower. Spanish-speaking people, now called Hispanics, are another example. They have a vision. Not only are they coming to America for an improved quality of life, but according to William B. Flores and Rena Ben-Meir in their book Latino Cultural Citizenship and public statements by the Council of La Raza, Hispanics are coming to America with a vision of becoming the majority minority over blacks. While Black Americans are fighting the battles of civil rights for everybody, these two authors explain that Hispanics are working to have cultural rights equated to black legal rights. Jeffrey Fox, in his book, His Hispanic Nation, proclaimed that a new ethnic identity is being constructed in the United States, made up of Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, and all other Spanish-speaking groups that will surpass blacks in population and change the political focus from black and white to white and Hispanic. Their vision is to achieve economic and political power over major geographic areas of the United States, especially the southwestern and southeastern states. So the plan is out loud. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear what I'm reading? You following this? So other people are making plans to pretty much come in and take everything you've got. That's that's what's happening. That's what is going on. Right. So what are you going to do about it? That's the question to ask. What are you going to do about it? What's the plans right here? It reminds me of a story I heard Jamal Mashburn, a former basketball player for the Dallas Mavericks, tell today on a podcast. I was scrolling through my phone and I saw him tell this story. I thought it was funny. And he talked about Larry Bird and how Larry Bird ran into a guy named Rodney Rogers who played college at the time. And the college guys played against the Dream Team from '92 for the Olympics. They were kind of doing a scrimmage, and the college kids kicked the Dream Team's butt. And they were just they were it was a legendary game because these college players were not supposed to beat the NBA players, especially not Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Karl Malone and all these guys. So one of the guys on the bus made a joke about Larry Bird. He said, "Well, Larry hasn't hit a jump shot since 1984." And Magic Johnson goes and tells Larry Bird what this guy said. So Larry Bird, to prove to this young buck that he's still the GOAT at the time, goes in and he doesn't just score on him 20 times in a row, but he tells him the plan before he makes the move. So he says, 2 dribbles left, jump shot, dribbles left, jump shot, swish, right? Going to the basket, laying it up with my right hand, goes to the basket, lays up with his right hand. He still can't stop him. He knows the plan. He tells him, I'm going to do a spin move, dribble between my legs, and go under for a layup. Dribble, spin move, under, go layup, right? So even though he's telling this guy what the play is going to be, he's literally saying out loud what the next move is, he still can't stop him because Larry Bird's power as an athlete was so superior to his own. And then he just made a little joke and he said something like, he says it kind of reminds me of 1984. What do you think? And so the point here is to say that this is what power is. This book is called Powernomics. And the first thing Dr. Anderson does, which is essential for all of us as Black people, is he defines what power is. Power, if you recall, anybody remember what the definition was? Power is the ability to pursue your agenda despite the opposition of others. He did not say that power is the ability to pursue your agenda as long as the Democrats are in office. He didn't say power is the ability to get things done as long as white folks say it's okay. He didn't say that. He never said, there's no condition to power. Power is unconditional. Power means that, like this book says, like the Hispanic community has power because they put themselves first. We're B1, they're H1. So they literally came in and said, here's our plan. We're going to put it in books. We're going to tell everybody the plan, and everybody can hear it because it don't matter if you can hear it because you're not going to stop it. What are you going to do? You can't stop it because power is the ability to pursue your agenda despite the opposition of others. So every time you hear a Negro say something like, well, we would have more Black-owned businesses, but every time we start them, white people tear them down, you need to correct him. That's not power. You're not speaking as an empowered person. Dr. Anderson talks about the development of an empowerment culture. Well, you can't have an empowerment culture if you're always making excuses and explaining why the other team is more powerful than you. That's not an empowerment culture. I don't know what that is, but it's not empowerment. Right? So or if I hear people say, well, why should we build another Black Wall Street? All they're going to do, they always burn it down anyway. Well, that's not power. That's not power talk. Or somehow trying to convince Black people that they need acceptance from anybody to achieve their goals. That is not power. That is, I don't know what that is. Maybe some allyship. Like maybe if you get the right allies, then white folks are going to have a change of heart and decide to start giving everything away, and then they're going to start really taking care of Black people. You keep believing that fairy tale. That's a dream. I don't have a dream. I have a vision. A vision is different from a dream. A dream is what you have when your mind is asleep. A vision is what you have when you're extra woke. My vision, I have a few different visions, but one of them, if you want to know, is something I call Project 2070. Project 2070 is that in my vision, if we do basic things right now in this generation, by the year 2070, B1 children, our descendants, will lead the world in economic training. They will lead the world in business development. They will lead the world when it comes to education and investing and everything in between, because they are going to be so deeply entrenched with this idea that we are meant to win and that we expect nothing less from our kids. We expect you to work hard. We expect you to invest in yourself. We expect you to take care of your family. We expect you to build. We expect you to start things. We expect you to come together as a group and accomplish things. So Project 2070 is basically where I believe that in 2070, they're going to look at us the same way we look at the Jewish community. Not all of us. Not all of us. I'm talking about the core of us. Those of you in this space that they get what I'm saying. You are the ancestors. You're planting the seed. So plant that seed. So let's keep going. He says, whether Jews, European whites, or Hispanics, all of these groups have used their group vision to move their people. The collective vision is in the mind's eye of the group, and it plays a vital role in guiding the group's behavior. Our national empowerment vision will function the same way. It will be used to focus our attention, give us a single-minded purpose, serve as a template for decision-making, and establish group direction. For example, when Black America is asked then which way is north, they will not all point in different directions. Their direction will be anchored in reality. Black America must have a vision that describes what Black people need and what they are capable of becoming by a specific year in the future. In order not to be pie in the sky, the vision must be linked to a realistic plan. A plan. A plan. A plan. What's another plan? I've told you guys 85 million times about the $5 a day plan. I hope you will consider. Again, you go to blackmoneyminute.com. Blackmoneyminute.com is where it's listed. It's right there. It's a free ebook. You can get it. If you don't understand it, it's very simple though. Very simple to execute. Invest $35 a week in some sort of index fund for every child. Each child gets their $5 a day invested for them. You do not sell those assets. You do your best to make sure you don't sell under any circumstances. And then by the time your child is 25 years old, they're going into the game ready to play. They're going in with $100,000 or more in liquid assets. They're going into the game with all kinds of economic knowledge. They're going into the game with a strong sense of self-awareness. They love being Black. They want to contribute. They want to work together. They understand all these things that I'm teaching you guys every single week. They understand these things to the core because they grew up in the culture. It's blackmoneyminute.com. Black Money Minute. I do my Black Money Minute, so I put blackmoneyminute.com. I bought that URL. That's what I use for that. Okay, so I want you to implement some sort of plan. What is your plan? I think this is a good time to kind of close down for today. Another thing that you guys can feel free to take a look at is I put together a mini course that I call the Black Economic Survival Plan, and it's actually, well, the title is called The Rules of Economic Self-Defense, and I'll do a quick screen share so you guys can see what it looks like. So economic self-defense, if you go to economicsurvivalplan.com, you can take a look. And it's basically designed to allow you to understand how money plays a role in your life, how to build wealth with your family, how to avoid a financial deadly lifestyle, how debt is related to slavery and how it works, why jobs are very risky, the keys to Blacks owning everything, forming an economic family, etc. So there are several lectures in this curriculum. Black wealth and only growth we sacrifice for the future, where these rules come from and how they work, the options of everything. So what I do actually in one of the lectures is I go through 7 rules of economic self-defense. And the reason I put this lecture together is because economic warfare is a very real thing. And so economic warfare, if you want to look at examples of economic warfare, just go to Russia. If you look at the United States and Russia, they're engaged in economic warfare right now. The Chinese are masters of economic warfare. Economic warfare is consistently applied against Black people as a collective, also individually. The first thing that happens when you get too Black is they fire you from your job. Well, that's economic warfare. Or when they're starving out your community, or when they're gentrifying your community against your permission. All these are forms of economic warfare. So I want you to be trained on how to survive it and how to be prepared to fight against it. So ultimately, if you'd like to take a look at that mini course, and again, don't forget you can use the code word Dr. Boyce to get 20% off anything in the Black Business School, all one word. Just go to economicsurvivalplan.com. That's economicsurvivalplan.com. Everything you get there, all the lectures, all the slides, it's yours for life. And the fee is $199. But again, Dr. Boyce will give you 20% off. So feel free to go to economicsurvivalplan.com. Somebody write that in the chat so everybody can have it. It's economicsurvivalplan.com. So feel free to go there and take a look. Okay, guys, I'm about to head on out. It was real. I hope you all learned something today. And don't forget, next week we're going to meet again. Same time, same bat channel, 8:30 Eastern, And so you can log in at blackkeystogreatness.com to also get access to your life class materials as well. And hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you soon. So take care, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.